Welcome back to the college football landscape, where the stories are big and the games are even bigger. From Athens to Auburn, we're tracking every play, every rivalry, and the entire national championship chase. So let's set the table. Grab your coffee, because the countdown to kickoff starts right now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kickoff. You're locked into football and coffee with Casey and Craig.
Hey, why do I go first?
Can we restart?
Why? What happened?
It says content not available on the stream.
Oh, I don't know if we can restart or not. On what stream?
You on Twitter.
Oh, I got an X right. I got a check mark. It says.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Listen, this
hell
is
of a start.
Huh?
Hell of a start of a show.
It can only go up from here.
I mean, you figure by 3 weeks we'd have something figured out.
Oh, we got it. It's good. It's called user error. Hang on, you ready? Let's start again from the top. You ready? Hang on, watch. Wait, ready? We're gonna do the Tony Romo slide in. Grab your coffee. It's time to talk ball. You know what I love is the fact that it can be a little goofy at the start, and it's okay.
In broadcasting school, they called that vomiting into the mic. And yes, yours truly did get coerced into one of the biggest Ponzi schemes out there, broadcasting school.
Did you literally bottom it into a mic?
No, but that's what they call it. They're like, "Hey, welcome back. We're here. We're live." That's what they call it in broadcasting school, because that's what you want to do. Like the first people, they're like, "Hey, I want to go on the radio." But
okay, no, we'll keep it very serious.
Yeah, so just talk naturally is the point.
Yeah, just talk
like
naturally.
$11,000 taught me that.
Just be yourself, because then people will like you. I like you, Casey.
That's what my mom told me, and Jack Handy told me on Saturday Night Live back in the early 80s. Jack Smalley. What was his name? Yeah. Was it Jack Handy?
Jack Handy, yeah. I'm good enough? No, that was Stuart Smalley.
That was Stuart Smalley, but Jack Handy was the one that had the
audio coming
Deep
through.
Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. Yeah.
Fantastic one. Good.
All right. Let's start us.
Hey, by the way, can I say welcome back to the MBG podcast?
Thank you. Yeah.
Fantastic show. You guys had freezing cold takes on. It's got a new book out. I thought that was a really cool interview, and it was interesting how the explanation was like he and MBG are kind of floating in similar spaces, but different spaces.
I brought that up, and I that was basically my question. Like you guys are living in the same space, and Fred is his name, Fred Siegel, a really good guy. But he brought it. He definitely, he definitely. I wanted to not ask that question after I asked it. Yeah.
No, I thought it was fantastic. And then, like I said, I missed you four on there, so I enjoyed it. I got it in Friday and Saturday morning. So if you haven't listened to it by now, definitely go through. But Casey, I think it's time for our first cup of coffee. But if we're gonna do it, let's get it from Strange Brew Coffee in Starkville, Mississippi.
I love it. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, isn't Starkville all about cowbells, football, and surviving the Mississippi summer heat? And you'd be right. But how do you survive a Saturday morning tailgate or a marathon editing session without losing your mind? You hit up Strange Brew. They are an absolute institution down there in Starkville, Mississippi. If you walk through the doors, you have to try their legendary albino squirrel latte, a glorious hyper-caffeinated concoction of white chocolate and hazelnut that will have you vibrating with pure joy. Or if you're brewing at home, grab a bag of their locally roasted blueberry cobbler whole bean coffee, because starting your morning smelling like fresh bakery goodness is just basic self-care. So the next time you find yourself in Starkville, Mississippi, pull on in, grab your favorite cup, and tell them we sent you. Strange Brew Coffee House, keeping Starkville caffeinated and civilized, one cup at a time.
My gosh, can you imagine? We're both married. What if your wife said, hey, Case, can you go to the coffee shop and get me an albino squirrel latte?
It's an interesting name, but you'll remember it, and I think that's the point.
That is. I was
'Cause
looking up.
I
Go
hope
ahead.
it's not squirrel that you're actually drinking.
It is Starkville, Mississippi, though, and you and I have both been there, and you would not be surprised to see squirrel. So maybe we could ask our guy Ryan. Maybe he would know. Maybe I bet you he's got a good recipe for it, though.
It's an underrated town.
It really
Completely
is.
underrated town.
I had a great time there. The Cotton District is phenomenal.
No,
I saw Mississippi State and Georgia play there back in 2022. Saw the Pirate coach one of his last games for them. But yeah, no, that was a good time. I enjoyed that.
yeah, it was a great time. The hotel right there, the Courtyard is where I stayed because I'm a Marriott guy, not a sponsor. And it's always comfortable, walking distance to everything and everyone. People are friendly. Everything you need is on that Highway 12. I think it's a great town. I was glad that my stepson went there and I got to enjoy it for a few years. It was really, really cool. I really do enjoy that town.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed it.
Genuinely.
I stopped at the Courtyard. I went to the bathroom there. I had stayed in Memphis.
Nice bathrooms.
Nice bathrooms. Yeah, that was a long trip. So I flew from Detroit to Memphis, which was the late flight. Stayed in Memphis, and then got up early the next morning. Went to Ole Miss. Got to tour Oxford a little bit. That was Ole Miss, Alabama. That was that party was hopping. So I was there for a few hours. Got to see the magic that was the Grove, and then went down to Starkville for a 6:30 p.m. Central kick. By the time I got home, it was like 3:30 in the morning, and I think my flight left at like 5:30 or 6 on Sunday morning. I don't think I made the in-flight announcements, but again, didn't matter because that was a fantastic trip.
You're able to sleep on flights, huh? Or you
I
didn't
am.
have a choice at that point?
I didn't have, honestly though. I'm one of those weird people. Like when I was a kid growing up, I could sleep in the car. Like as soon as the car started, I'm out cold in the car, no problem whatsoever. I can sleep on a flight. I can sleep pretty much anywhere. Are you one of those guys like you're up the entire time?
Yeah. And I used to make fun. My dad tells a story. He's the youngest of 4, and my dad gets a lot of play on the MBG show. But he's the youngest of 4, so they had the old seats back in the day, and it was my grandfather, my dad, my grandmother, before car seats existed, I guess, and then his 3 siblings in the back. And my grandfather fell asleep while driving, and they ended up on a airport runway. And my dad woke up, and he was the only one awake and saved the family, more or less, but woke my grandfather up, and the rest is, as they say, is history. So he always says that he has to drive everywhere because he can't sleep in a car or on a plane. And I'm like, you're crazy, Dad. And as I got older, I'm the same way. I don't know why. I can't. I have to do the driving when we do long trips, and I don't mind it. I love it. And then on planes, like unless it's a red eye where I just go hard for 2 days, it's going to be real hard for me to sleep. And I can't bring my CPAP there.
Yeah, so we're both taller guys too. I'm never usually super comfortable in a seat. I remember the one time I went to Europe, I was in the middle 3 rows and I was in the middle seat. So it was like, like you're like this trying to sleep, and there was no sleep there. I was just watching movies. But I mean, like I said, I can crash if we've got the early flight. I like to take the early flights usually if I'm going out anywhere. Don't love the red eye though. Sister-in-law, like she's
There's
on the
nothing worse.
No, it's just I'd rather just take up my entire day.
Yeah, there's literally, I'm not sure there's anything worse ever. And not to completely derail us forever, but our guest did puke out on us tonight, so we're gonna have to fill some airtime, if you will. But have you ever missed a flight because the time on it said the wrong day? So I had 2 flights, and I probably explained that poorly, but I had 2 different years.
Yep.
And I was in Vegas, and my flight left at Sunday. It said Sunday, 12:15 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would any somewhat educated person think? that it's like Saturday when
Right,
Saturday
right,
turns
like
to
Saturday,
Sunday.
it's like Saturday night. You're at the casino, and like, oh crap, I have to get to the casino, or I have to get to the
Get to
airport.
the airport, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Saturday about 11:15, I'm at the craps table with my two buddies, and the thing says, like your flight's boarding. I'm like, no, I'd leave tomorrow. No, Sunday. Yeah, idiot. And the worst part is I did it again from the same place, not the same casino, but the same exact thing. And so, yeah, I hopefully won't do it again, but things do happen in threes, so maybe.
When are we going to Vegas?
We go to Vegas light now. We do a boys trip down to Biloxi, Mississippi. Again, keeping the Mississippi theme. It sucks that we're going to be talking about Georgia in a little while because
we can flip. Listen. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk. Miss, do you want to go Ole Miss? Do you want to go Mississippi State? I can't talk Southern Miss though. I have no idea.
No, I'm good.
No.
We'll stick to the script.
Okay, we can stick to the script. Let me get this straight. You were in the casino. It was Saturday night, and then it went into Sunday, and you just missed it because you just too much fun.
I was on a heater. I'll be honest. I made a lot of money that night. The first night, I made a lot of money. So
second
when
night,
I had
you
to
gave
change, when I had to change my flight because they're American Airlines, God love them, but they weren't. I mean, I'm sure I wasn't the first and only person that's ever done that.
Yeah,
but
especially in Vegas.
Yeah.
There's I've heard this one too. As we continue to go off the rails, it's totally fine.
11
so
minutes
apparently, there's a desk in Austria, I believe it is, for people who take the wrong flight and end up in Austria instead of Australia.
I love that. I could see that happening, though. Have you ever been on a flight where you're like, the pilot says, hey, this flight is going to Memphis, Tennessee. If your final destination is not Memphis, Tennessee, you need to get up and get off the plane. And people actually have gotten up and gotten off the plane. I don't know if you can do it anymore because of
it seems like it's harder because we're scanning a ticket for something.
Yeah.
It's definitely not because I'm in boarding class 1 or whatever, boarding group 1. Are you the guy? Are you waiting for the right? Oh wait, hang on. You're probably like first class flyer, so you're probably going up there first anyway. I'm back in the bird.
I wait until the military go before I go.
Oh, look at you supporting the troops. We'll see if you're supporting the troops later with one of our fun segments. No, the only flight I almost missed. I was in Savannah, Georgia, not far from you, and that little tiny Savannah airport. I was too busy talking on the phone to somebody and almost totally missed my flight because at Savannah you have to walk out onto the tarmac in order to get to the plane.
Not anymore, but yes, back.
This was like 20. This was 20 years ago. Look at the gray hair. I'm not that cool.
We're aging ourselves.
We are. Speaking of which, have you been to Seattle?
I have.
This is Monkey's Uncle Pike Brewing Company, right in downtown Seattle. Pike Brewing Company. I don't know, something. Fantastic little place. Has a cool little monkey drinking a beer on it. It's a good shirt. So
it's a great town. Another great town.
I love that town. It's so much fun. Like University of Washington. So Emily Taylor will be a guest next week on the show.
You have to say that first before you're about to talk really nicely about the University of Washington.
I do. Like, no offense, Emily, but love the public transit system up in Seattle. Took that right up to the University of Washington after a conference at an Amazon. Fast Chad's in the chat. We're doing well tonight. And got to explore everywhere throughout the University of Washington. Checked out the entire campus. But the best was it was middle of July. The football team was working out in their indoor facility. I had a backpack on. I made it look like I knew where I was going. Walked right into the facility. Was kind of watching practice, kind of just hanging out, and just enjoyed myself for half hour, 45 minutes.
Who was the coach then?
Chris Peterson. So,
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, this was strength and conditioning guys and stuff like like there's no contact during July. So,
Allegedly.
so our boy Fast Chad says, I had a date tell me once that she'd go out with me. That she'd go out with me again if I didn't. I don't know what that means, Chad.
Yeah, I mean, he waxes poetic, that guy.
He does. He does. We got to have him on. I think at some point here too. It's a good time. Anyway, speaking of when, this is probably a segment best for Fast Chad. Casey, you and I are both of a certain age where when we were in college, we had rooms with computers in there, and they were called the computer lab, and that's where we did our papers. Well, sometimes in between papers, we may have surfed the internet. Did you ever surf the internet back in college?
Oh, yeah, it was called Netscape back then.
Well, yeah, Netscape. Well, there used to be a site called Hot or Not. I don't know. Are you familiar with this one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember Hot or Not. That was great.
Yeah. So Hot
It was
or
like
Not,
Tinder before Tinder was Tinder.
it was. You instead of swiping right or swiping left, I'm still not sure what that means. Maybe ask Fast Chad. He'll know for sure.
Who definitely know.
But basically, people would submit their photos, and then you would say, are they hot or are they not? So I thought we'd play a little game for our first cup and our first segment. We've had a couple of universities come out with some alternate uniforms. So, my friend, I am going to share the screen. We're going to see how this goes. Remember the last time I was a producer. I'm sure it'll be just fine. And what I would like you to do is I want you to tell me, are these uniforms hot or not? And we'll start with our friends in Gainesville, Florida.
Another great town.
Another great town. So Florida unveiled, I think. Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to lead you astray. They're throwing it back to the OBC, but they have unveiled these new throwback uniforms. Mr. Cregan, are they hot or not?
You're going to hate me by the end of this. Those are hot. I like those uniforms a lot. I like the old school look. I think that's fantastic.
110%. I was did a little writing for the last We're in College Football, and despite being a Georgia Bulldog, I've got the Gators as probably one of the hottest looking uniforms because you know what? It is clean, and I love the stripes, the helmet.
I'm not usually a fan of whites. Like I'm not usually a fan of them, but I like the accent colors. Kind of partial to that orange. I like the blue and the orange together.
Yeah. So
yeah, I like it.
I thought that went well. All right. Your next one for hot or not is going to be, I've got this. Don't worry about it. We're all good. Oh, hang on. Oh, no. Hang on. Where is it? There it is. Let's see. Hang on. I am totally failing. What is happening?
This is on par with your producer skills, though.
No, it is. I didn't go far enough. Hang on, I've got it here.
What's the school?
Georgia.
Oh, I haven't seen these.
Here we go. Look, don't. Here we go, buddy. So Georgia is this game. This is going to be for their September 12th game against Western Kentucky. Is going a whiteout as well. So this is going to be at home. So Casey, I ask you, Georgia's uniform, now that we've got it going, is it hot or not?
It's hot. I like those. I said they're gross, but I like them too. Same idea. It's almost like they copied Florida.
They probably did copy Florida, but so
you know what? They probably didn't copy anybody. They probably got told by Nike that this is going to be the look.
This is going to be the look. So this was like the big hullabaloo with Georgia fans in the offseason. Their big NIL collective, Glory, was talking about if they raise so much money, they'll get an alternative. Georgia fans have been wanting black uniforms forever. The last time they wore black uniforms, Scott Cochran of Alabama, famously claimed, "Hey, they look like they're going to a funeral." And then Alabama kicked the hell out of Georgia at Sanford Stadium. They're nice, but to me, this is not Georgia. Georgia is iconic with their red helmet. At home, they're wearing their red jerseys. I know I sound old, and please feel free to tell me I'm old and I've got to get over it. But these are just awful. They're not awful. I don't like them. I don't think that they do it for me. I just nope.
You're one of the purists, though, and that's the thing. Like with Clemson, obviously they're not on this list. They're not going to be shown, but they won't change their helmet. And every year somebody's like, "Oh, if they brought out purple helmets, those would be fire." And then there's purists that are like, "No, don't mess with it." That's what you kind of sound like here. Like you're a purist. You want that red helmet. You want that black G on the side of the red helmet. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Again, going along the Florida lines, I think these are clean too.
I will give you that. It is totally clean. But again, I think it's the purest. I feel like Florida has enough variance within their uniforms where like it's not that out of the blue. Where Georgia,
and they do switch it up. They do switch it up from time to time, whereas Georgia really doesn't.
Yeah. So, all right. So we can be somewhat divided on this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think that we'll be divided on this next one if I can share it, but we'll see what happens.
We should have had some music like in the meantime, so just to kind of distract people from the fact that you're having trouble pushing buttons.
Well,
look at you. That was fast.
That was fast. You are actually the producer here, so if you had music. So Texas A&M and Arkansas is going to be playing Arkansas. And the Aggies are going to be wearing these honor and support uniforms. And Casey, are these hot or maybe not?
I'm going to go not with these, but with the caveat that I usually like the camos on teams. I usually think that they're pretty good. I don't love the color scheme here. It almost looks like a little like doo-doo brown with the maroon instead of like true camo. And Texas A&M acts like a military school, but they're not. So yeah,
it's
I'm not a big fan of these.
I know Leach likes to talk about Texas A&M's fake army and how he wanted to have his own fake army at Texas Tech. But I wonder, okay, if you're gonna go camo, do you not just go with maroon, gray, and white camo, some sort of digital camo with that? I know we're supporting the troops and all that sort of stuff, and this is not me, saying I'm not going to be waving the flag or anything else, but like, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look good. Like, this doesn't say Texas Tech to me at all. This is just
Texas A&M.
Oh, well, there you go. It's Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, especially with the maroon arm sleeves, and we're sticking with the maroon pants. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't love them, but I look forward to seeing them on the field.
Yeah, and again, we can do military well. Army and Navy have probably the best looking. Yeah, like
every year. Yeah. Every year, every single year.
Yeah, they do it well. This, not great, Bob.
Oh, and I applaud the effort, but the final product didn't come out great.
Yeah, I'm not even applauding the effort. I think they stink. Yeah. So if you used to watch The Critic in the 90s, it stinks.
2 thumbs down. Show? Oh wait, no, that was
Ebert, I think.
That was Siskel and Palkovich or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
Something like that. I don't know.
So I've got a fourth one for you. You ready?
Yeah. I like these. Playing Hot or Not, it brings me back. Did you ever post your picture on Hot or Not? Not even slightly.
Do we think Paul? Okay, I shouldn't even say do we think Paul did. How many over under? What was the number of photos that Paul posted on Hot or Not?
Over under at least 50 to 7,500.
I would say our former friend, our former co-host Rob Williams probably did, but he was too young back then. He
didn't have a shirt on though. He didn't have a shirt on. There's no shirts optional.
Shirts were optional. So I'm gonna lump these ones in. So this is Nebraska, the black shirts. Nebraska, Louisville, and Washington all came up. All are Adidas schools, by the way. So is Texas A&M, and all came up with these black uniforms.
I love them. I love that. That's hot. I love them. You know, I'm really good. Really, really, really fast. Chad will tell you I'm like best buds with a coach on the Nebraska staff.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably his influence to getting these all blacks or the black shirts. You know, that's their tradition. I like those a lot. I think Nebraska purists may not, but I think that's a great look for them. I like that a lot.
What does the helmet
You
look
hate
like?
it. I love them.
How do you know I hate it? You just hear me sighing and just getting frustrated.
Yeah, you're gritting your teeth and stuff.
So okay, here's what I don't like. Call me Heidi Klum or Tim Gunn, and I'm going to be on Making the
I don't
Cut.
even know who those people are.
Watch Bravo sometime, and you can watch Project Runway. So like the 26, that's a weird looking font. That's kind of rounded. This Nebraska looks very weird. I don't know what we're doing here with the stripes on the shoulders. This doesn't really say Nebraska. Nebraska has the block N on there. I don't need Huskers along the side of me. I don't need this stripe. This doesn't say black shirts to me. This just says, what are we doing? Again, I feel like we're mixing fonts as well. Stop. See, look at Fabo's got it here in the chat. Yeah, these uniforms are not it.
Yeah.
Liam, Adidas needs to stop making alternates until we figure out what's going on. See, these are my people, Liam and Fabo. Hopefully they're watching. Let's tag them in the show maybe. But yeah, not it. Sorry, buddy.
Love them. I might buy me a jersey.
Oh, don't be that guy. Are you a jersey guy?
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Grown men don't wear jerseys.
Do you bring your glove to a baseball game?
Absolutely not.
So let's go off on a tangent here.
My son did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's 8.
So we used to have a partial season ticket plan to the Detroit Tigers, and we were right above the bullpen. My brother brought his catcher's glove and was playing catch with the bullpen catcher, and then the bullpen catcher wanted to see his glove and dropped it in there. And he was excited that Todd Maulding tried on the glove. He's like, I got Todd sweat on there. It's awesome.
That's super for a kid. Was he 45 or was he like 12?
My brother was like 22 or 23 at the time.
Yeah, it was alcohol induced, I'm sure.
There may have been some on there. All right, one more for you, my friend. You ready?
Yeah.
These ones. Arizona State University. They say they're throwing it back to the 1987 Rose Bowl, but to me, this screams Jake the Snake Plummer. So I'm going to ask you, my friend, Arizona State Sun Devils, hot or not?
Man, I loved watching Jake Plummer back in the day, so I'm going to have to say hot. They definitely are. I don't care what they say. That absolutely, you're right. It screams Jake Plummer. I don't even remember them playing in a Rose Bowl, but yeah, I love that helmet. That helmet's sweet with the old Sun Devil logo on it. Mm-hmm. Everything else doesn't even matter, to be honest, in my opinion.
Do you know what the what that little Sun Devil guy's name is?
Joe.
Sparky.
Same thing.
All right, you can Google this for me. I'm almost positive. Jake the Snake Plummer played Ohio State in the Rose Bowl in 1996. I'm not even checking that. You can check your Google, Gemini. And after ripping on Adidas.
What year did you say?
I want to say 1996.
It was 97, but it was very good. Very good.
So this 96 season, right? 96 season. Did they play Ohio State?
97 Rose Bowl. They played Ohio State and lost in a thrilling 20-17 game to the Buckeyes.
Look at that. I should get a show. What do you think?
Yeah.
Like a big
Plummer had an 11-yard touchdown run with 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining. How do you blow that lead? Come on. Was that Herm Edwards? Who was coaching then?
I don't have any idea who the Arizona State coach was. And I guess I owe an apology to Team 3 Stripe and Adidas because these are sick. These look they did these right. I think They did the 3 colors. I think these are definitely hot. So if I'm going the 2 hottest of the ones that we've shown, I'm going Florida and Arizona State. Probably the worst, Texas A&M. What about you, my friend?
I don't remember who we picked. Nebraska was the best. Arizona State number 2. Florida 3.
I hope your mic cut out during that one.
Texas A&M 5.
Perfect. Shout out to me for somewhat getting that.
You did great there. We didn't even practice that.
No, it's perfect. I was like, this is what's going to work. I didn't even want you. I don't even think you saw the agenda. So like, you didn't even know we were going to look at it yet.
There's an agenda?
I heard there was one.
Well, I don't do that stuff.
I think it's fantastic. It's time for our second cup of coffee, by the way. And we're supposed to have our good friend Jon Tweets Sports, but he's a little bit under the weather tonight. So instead, what we're going to do is after Casey gives us a little plug and a read for Dog Central, we're going to talk a little Georgia Bulldog football because Jon was probably one of the damn good dogs or the best damn good dogs that we know out here.
Listen up, Dog Nation. If your Saturdays are sacred, your Sundays are spent analyzing game film, and your timeline is missing the absolute best Georgia Bulldogs coverage online, you need to stop what you're doing right now. Head over to x.com/dogs social club. That's DAWGS social club. Whether you're looking for sharp roster breakdowns, insider transfer portal intel, or just the kind of passionate game day energy you can't get anywhere else, Dogs Social Club is your new home base. Don't just watch the season unfold. Experience it with the ultimate community of Georgia faithful.
Love it. Love the Dog Central. Love Jon Tweets Sports. My friend, I hope you're feeling better.
We'll have him on at some point. We'll have him on.
Yeah, we'll have him on. He has some great bonfires. Usually got some brown water and some cigars usually going. So
yeah, all I need is an invite.
That's it. Get the invite, and then I will find my way to North Georgia. So yeah, I'm ready to go.
Far. We're not. I mean, not close, but not far either.
I'm like 12 hours. I could be there.
Yeah, that's a little shorter than that. But
speaking
of short, Palk's on later for the Irish Minute.
Does he want to come talk Georgia?
Probably not.
Hey, listen, 2 out of 3 times that hasn't gone well for him. All right. So, Georgia Bulldogs, back-to-back SEC champions. Does that even matter anymore?
I mean, that's probably a better question for you, sir. But, yeah, I always thought that, and my thing back in when the 4-team playoff was that if you're not good enough to play for your conference championship or win your conference championship, how are you good enough to play for a national championship? Now, I know that's very surface. That's a very surface-level argument. Football is football, game of inches, all those cliches can happen. But that was also probably an anti-Alabama sentiment from me that many years ago, was that they would lose in the SEC championship and then go on to win the national championship. And for some reason in my brain, that didn't really compute. People that would argue with me would always go to the basketball side of things, which I think is a lot different. But then it started to compute a little bit. But once it expanded out to 8, then my thought process, I have some pedestals that I sit on, or some soapboxes, I guess, that I stand on and scream to the clouds. Preseason polls being one of them, and teams not winning their conference championship being able to win a national championship. All that long-winded word salad to say, yes, I do think a conference championship still matters and should matter, even if we expand to 117 teams for the playoff.
Can we not do that?
No, we better not.
I don't really want to do that. But it's, yes, I'm probably the one that should be asking about that. But this is the narrative. Like, even going into SEC media days, even looking at the preseason, I feel like when Alabama was back-to-back SEC champions, that was part of the narrative. That was part of it. And I feel like that has really, really gone away. There's talk that the SEC championship may go away. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But if you look overall at the Georgia schedule, one of my biggest complaints about the Georgia schedule is the non-conference schedule kind of sucks. I'm going to be real honest. They've been backing out of some of these bigger games. They don't want to be playing, 10 or 11 P4 teams. I know we talked about it before, Case, but they've got about 3 or 4 games with Clemson scheduled. And those games should be in Athens and in Clemson, South Carolina. But yet I'm hearing names like Tampa, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Nashville, Texas,
Dallas.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand. One of the things that I used to love about Kirby Smart is like there was always something of a great Power 4 schedule, like some P4 team, whether it be Oregon or whoever that may be. But it's the non-conference games and the neutral site games. It's a paycheck, but as a fan, it sucks because I think we have 4 games scheduled. What's the over/under that? How many of those games actually end up showing up and end up playing? You think?
I don't think any will actually, and you're right. They should, because the old adage, it's not an old adage at all, but I didn't know what else to say. But Clemson, South Carolina to Athens, Georgia is closer to each other than Clemson, South Carolina and Columbia, South Carolina. So back when I was in school all those many years ago, it was probably one of the last times that they played on campus. With 1995, my freshman year, when Mike Bobo was the quarterback for Georgia. And then I believe sometime whenever David Pollock was there at Georgia, I think it was the early aughts that he was there, or early, is aught right? 2003, maybe?
I think odds are right.
He was in, I think that was the last time I remember, because I was talking so much trash to Georgia fans about David Pollock not being any good, and then he came around the edge and absolutely buried one of our quarterbacks. And shortly thereafter, he's getting me now. Shortly thereafter, I walked away from my seat and went and sat somewhere else because the berating that I was getting in my home stadium was just uncomfortable for me.
It was just rough.
It was, because he just took over on defense.
But like that's part of it though. Like
it was great, and the fans hate each other, and but it's like it's a very respectful rivalry. At least it was then. The tailgates were always fun. Athens, there's not a better college town in my opinion, outside of my own favorite, obviously, and with my bias, than Athens, Georgia. I find that campus to be unbelievable. The downtown is so much fun. The people were always so great. We used to go. Clemson's bars used to close at midnight on Saturday night, so we would schedule times during the school year that we would take a trip and go throw 14 dudes into a Motel 6 and spend the whole evening in downtown Athens, and so we could drink at bars until 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. It's just a great place. So I've been there for football games as well, and the tailgating is fantastic. And again, the people are great. Yeah, you're wearing the orange colors. Or I went to a South Carolina Georgia game, so I went neutral colors. I think I had like Miami Dolphins gear on or something, because I didn't want to I didn't want to be a part of either fan base that day. But it was still great. I still got barked at. It was wonderful. It was a great time, great town, great tailgating. Yeah, it should be on campus.
And our good friend John likes to throw probably some of the best tailgates down there in Athens. So I think
all I need is an invite.
That's it. And I'm pretty sure we have an invite. Just we got to get our way down there. Yeah. So like if you look at 2026, Georgia has traded Oregon, Clemson. Oh, the first 2 weeks, Tennessee State and Western Kentucky. Wow, I can't wait to cover those 2 games. Oh, but they're going to have white uniforms on. Yeah, I don't care about any of this. It's just brutal, though. I don't really care for it. Couple of games I think are going to be interesting. Close out September 26th. You've got Oklahoma coming in. John Mateer looking yoked, by the way. Looks like he's got all jacked up. Oklahoma will be also coming back from Ann Arbor, hopefully victorious. As I told my nephew today, who's at the University of Michigan, who's very excited. He's got his season tickets. I said, boomer sooner, buddy. But I think that'll be interesting. That'll probably be a night game. Casey, October 10th, I think we're going to have Meemaw on because Georgia is going to Alabama. I am ready to get hurt again. I'm ready for Kalen DeBoer to come out and just smash the hell out of Georgia for the first half, and for us to make a triumphant comeback, just to follow up just short, for that. So that won't be a lot of fun. Halloween, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I saw a guy today post that this could be a really good day in Georgia. That if the Atlanta Braves have the best record in baseball and they go to Game 7 of the World Series on October 31st, you could have Georgia play Florida at Mercedes-Benz, and then at SunTrust Field? Is that right? Well, SunTrust Field. Yeah, I don't know. Wherever the Braves play, it's no longer Turner Field. That's where my Georgia State Panthers play now. They could be Truist Park. Nice area. I'm sure it's fine. That should be interesting. November 7th, they head out to Oxford to play Ole Miss. That was fun. We had 2 great games last year, one in Athens, and then obviously Ole Miss got the better of Georgia back then. And then they go to South Carolina. My question to you, Mr. Cregan, November 21st, is Shane Beamer still the head coach at South Carolina? No, I'm asking you. I need to know, because that's your home state, so I need to ask you.
Yeah, he'll be the coach.
Just found out, I guess, that Lenora Sellers' brother and some other wide receiver are both out for the season. Not great, Bob.
What? That seems to happen to them every year with every sport. It just feels like impact players, and I'm not sure that Lenore's his brother, although he was catching passes, a lot of passes at the end of last season for them. But yeah, it just seems like they lose a difference maker every season in every sport.
Yeah. I think interesting. What could scare you about South Carolina? Kendall Bryce was there as offensive coordinator. That could be something. I don't think it's gonna be enough for Shane Beamer. I think Shane Beamer's probably I think it's gonna be either Shane Beamer or Mike Norvell, probably your first coach out. They were talking on Game Day's podcast this week. They're doing the ACC preview. There was talk about Dabo being on the hot seat. It seemed more conjecture and more like fodder than anything of actual. I mean, you put any merit to that at all?
I don't believe so. I think he names his time when he leaves. That's just, I mean, a little bit of bias probably in there, but I truly believe that, and he'll know. People make up narratives about him all the time, and he's honest to a fault. And with the mic's on and when the mic's off, the guy is going to tell you how he feels. And if he's not winning and he's not producing, he's not going to stick around long enough to get fired. It's just not who he is. Will he finish a season? Of course, because that's the type of person that he is. He's going to finish something. I don't think he'll get fired unless he just completely drops the ball. I think he's honest with himself. He's honest with his team, and he wants to. I mean, he's Clemson through and through, and he wants to leave it in a better place than he found it, and all those other cliches. And I think he names his time. I mean, if you want to get clicks nowadays, definitely put Dabo on the hot seat, because Clemson people will come running.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Myself included.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think Norvell's got to be at least 7 or 8 wins at Florida State. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think Beamer's got to be at 8 or 9 wins to probably be safe. I think that's going to be a bit of a challenge. I think Jeff Levy at Mississippi State's the other one that could be a little bit of trouble.
And I think there's equity involved too, right? With Dabo, at least he's got equity there, and you're not going to mire in mediocrity. And I do think the downfall of Dabo is extremely overrated. That narrative. I mean, you win. You really have one bad year in the last 15, and now it's a downfall, a downward spiral. But what have those other 3 done? What's the equity at Shane Beamer? He's recruited really well. What's the equity at Mike Norvell? He had that really good 1 year in the portal, and he's shown that the other 2 years they haven't been good portal hauls. What was the third one you said? I mean,
Jeff Levy.
That poor guy. They just need to win 6 games in Mississippi State, and they'll build a statue, I think.
I think that's the key, right? Like, you got to go 6, 7.
Win an SEC game at home. How many years has it been since they've won an SEC game at home?
I think Leach was still the coach. I think it was 21 or 22. I think 22, I believe. Not great.
You win a game.
Yep.
Even if it's
Not great.
Arkansas, beat somebody.
Yeah. I don't see it. Looking ahead at your Bulldogs, if you're looking at any questions there, biggest question is who are you going to throw the damn ball to, Bobo? Wrote a piece yesterday, and last word, you looked at it. Georgia's lost 5 of their top 6 wide receivers last year. You're looking at a lot of youth, a lot of young kids that will come in. The only returning starter, the only of that top 6, Landon Humphreys, a transfer from Vanderbilt a couple years ago, had a real nice big catch last year against Tennessee that kind of allowed Georgia to kind of come back in what was very much a back and forth game. But, to me, the biggest question is going to be, who do we replace Zachariah Branch? Zachariah Branch was very good for Gunnar Stockton. That was a guy that was basically your safety valve, but someone who could also take the top off if need be. So, I think there's some questions at receiver. I got yelled at today on Reddit because I dared ask the question that Kirby, didn't grab anybody in the portal. He's going to let a young kid, oh, well, you got to stop asking these questions. We got to stop, challenging Kirby. Well, it's my job to ask these questions. And it's Kirby's job to say, McMichael, you're an idiot. And then just, go on. And I'll be okay with that. I'll be fine with that. But for right now, I think those are the big questions going on. All that to say, Georgia's final record, I think the floor is 10-2. I think Alabama might be tricky. Oklahoma at home might be tricky. Georgia's very good at home. I don't see them losing at home. Ole Miss could be very good, very difficult on the road. The Rebels are very good at Vaught Hemingway. But again, I'm seeing probably 11-1, probably a return to the SEC championship game. So, question for you before we bring on Mr. Polk. ESPN put out a little question this week. They're talking about expanding the playoff to 20 teams, but getting rid of conference championships. And this is how it all ties in when we're asking about conference championships. So ESPN put out what they want to do is a traditional 16-team bracket, but they want to expand the playoff. They want to expand it to 20 teams by saying the top 12 teams would secure their spot directly, just like they do now, into the 16-team bracket, while teams 13 through 20 would play the week of conference championship weekend to see who makes it into the 16-team playoff. So, Mr. Cregan, I want to look at last year's conference championship games and the proposed, what the games would have been under this matchup. And you tell me, do you want to keep it as it is, or do you want to go to this new one? So last year's Power 4 conference championship games. In the ACC, you had Duke versus Virginia. Remember, Duke won that one. Almost kept the ACC out of the college football playoff. In the Big, you had Ohio State versus Indiana. Mendoza and the Hoosiers knocked off Ohio State. In the Big 12, you had Texas Tech versus BYU, a blowout for the Red Raiders. And in the SEC, Georgia put BTA to Alabama in the SEC championship. Those are your 4 conference championship games. Take those off. And would you rather watch these 4 games? Number 13, Texas versus number 21, Houston. Number 14, Vanderbilt versus number 19, Virginia. Number 15, Utah versus number 18, Michigan. That's interesting for what happened after the season. Number 16, USC, California, not Columbia or Carolina, versus Arizona. So, Casey, what say you? Do you want 20 or do you want to stick at 12?
12.
Yeah. Kind of want to stick at 12 too.
I do like that Texas-Houston game.
Yep.
Intriguing. Vandy UVA last year would have been probably pretty fun.
Nerd Bowl?
Utah, Michigan last year, no interest in. Maybe that's just my Big Ten bias. I don't know. USC, Arizona, again, same idea. I don't really have an interest in it. I think the Georgia, Alabama, Texas Tech, BYU had a big run up to it. I thought it was going to be a better game than it was. And just because hindsight's 2020, just because it wasn't, doesn't mean it wasn't exciting that we had that matchup. Ohio State, Indiana was like 1 versus 2. So you're going to get rid of that game in the conference championship. And you can't tell me that both teams didn't play hard in that game. And Duke UVA is because the ACC happened. I mean, that's just what it is. And who said it on the MBG show this week about the ACC Coastal just used to be a complete blank show, man. It was always so fun to see who Clemson played for that 6-year run.
It was like all of this, right?
I think there was one season that every team in the Coastal played for a championship, ACC championship. It was during that Clemson run of championships that they played somebody different from the Coastal every season. And one year, I think it was like an 8-4 team that won the Coastal that year. But anyway, back on track. Yeah, I think you keep it at 12. That's too much. It's not too much football. It's just too much. Like keep the conference championships. I'm sorry. I know the game is changing. I understand that. I'm not an old fuddy. Well, I am an old fuddy-duddy, but I'm not an old fuddy-duddy that doesn't want change. Change is great. Change is fun. Change is scary. But conference championships should still mean something. Yep. Once we start opting players out of conference championships, then maybe we have a different conversation. But as of today, August 16th, 2026, conference championships still mean something. And maybe I am starting to get into that older bracket of fan that you still like to hang the banner, as I like to say to many people. Hang the conference championship banner. I know our Irish minute's coming up soon, and he doesn't know what a conference is, but I do still think they matter. Now, it might just matter to the school. Maybe it doesn't matter in the national narrative, right? That we can have that argument or conversation. Maybe it doesn't matter in the national narrative, but as long as you're part of a conference, you want to win the conference. Then we'll worry about that next step, which is getting in the tournament and winning the tournament. In this case, the college football playoff.
The thing that might pique my interest and might get me a little bit, that might make me consider it, is you've got a couple things coming through. What are the ratings going to be? Are your ratings for those 4 games going to be as good as the conference championship? Probably not. Because I think Ohio State had like 18 to 20 million. I know Texas, Alabama was like 16 million. I know that they were just under that. Can't remember what Texas Tech, BYU, ACC was. What do the ratings look like? The only thing that might get me to really think about going to the 16 or going to the 20, give me those 4 games at home. Give me the next first round games at home. And then you've got home games in Athens, home games in Tuscaloosa, home games at the Rock in Clemson, home games at the Shoe in Columbus, home games at the Big House. You give me that, maybe I'll consider it. You keep them out of the bowl games, maybe I consider it. That's probably the only way that you're going to convince me to kind of go on that way.
Here we go. Our good friend at Bourbon and Ball says, I'm definitely an old fuddy-duddy, and I do hate that we are losing the conference championships, but it's a matter of time. I know I'm holding on by a string. There's no question, and I get it. But there's something really nice about conference supremacy, and then you go play in, the best of the best, then you go play the rest. In New Jersey, I'm from New Jersey, born and raised in New Jersey. I left New Jersey at 18, and I'm 49 now. So I'm aging myself. I haven't been in New Jersey, lived in New Jersey in a long time. But in New Jersey, they had a thing called the Tournament of Champions, where you win your division. Whether in New Jersey, it's called Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4, and then the parochial teams play each other. The parochials being private, usually Catholic schools. Parochial A, parochial B. You have one state champion for each of those groups, and then they all play for a championship. So in football, they had 6 teams playing for a championship. Now, what happened was a lot of times the parochial schools kind of won, right? Because they're the schools that are bigger, the better. They're pulling from all the best kid from all these other schools. Some say recruiting. No, but
I just call it academic choices right there. That's all I call it.
Yeah. Here's the thing too. I want to sit in Charlotte with 23,456 fans. I sat in Tampa for Virginia Tech, Boston College with, I'm sure, 6 of my closest friends. and that's give or take 5 fans that were there for that particular ACC championship game.
Yeah.
But I digress. I forget where I was even saying, but you understand.
I get it, and I wonder if you're hanging by a thread. Maybe when you were on Hot or Not back in 2003, maybe you had Lifehouse hanging by a moment. I'm hanging by a moment here with you.
I was back working at Clemson.
Yeah, you were still in the computer lab. You were still on Hot or Not. Don't pretend like you're too good for it.
I'm still waiting for my school issued computer and my email address to work. I spent the first 2 weeks working there without all of that, and to the point where I just finally gave up. And I was like, yeah, well, if you need to email me, here's my Hotmail account.
Here's my AOL. Just hit me up on Instant Messenger.
AOL was still a thing. Yeah.
So I would, that's the other interesting point about, you look at attendance. Even the SEC championship was down a little bit. I was there in 2018 when Jalen came off the bench to lead Alabama against Georgia in the SEC championship. That place was rocking. That place was loud. It was a lot of fun. You wonder, is it starting to kind of move from some of that? So
yeah.
No,
when Clemson was on their run, there was a famous in our fan base. It was the North Carolina game when North Carolina was ranked really pretty high too, and there was an onside kick that was called back for offsides that may or may not have been offsides on North Carolina, depending on what fan base you ask. But that place in Charlotte was berserk because you get a team like Clemson that does travel. They do.
Mm-hmm.
They're known to travel pretty well. And North Carolina being local, they showed up too. And that place took 3 hours to get in the gates. It was atrocious logistics. However, it was a great game and it was packed. So there are times, but then when you move it, and this is a conversation for another day, put it on the agenda. When you move it to Tampa and you have Virginia Tech and Boston College in the ACC championship, sometimes it depends on who's playing in it, whether or not you're actually going to fill it or get more than 25 people in the stadium.
You could play that game in Foxborough. You could play that game in Cambridge, and you're not getting a ton of Boston College fans.
You could play it at Roanoke College, and you're not getting 15 fans in that place.
No, not a chance. Casey,
That
you feel like an
stadium used to be rocking too when they had Matty Ice and that Andre Callender and crew. That used to be good.
It's going to be a long time. I think that's where your boy Brian Kelly ends up.
That'd be a good spot for him.
That would be. Casey, we need Irish coffee.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Great, Casey. Thank you for having me on this fine Sunday night. Coming to you live on YouTube and Twitter. All right, now that I've vomited into the mic, what have we got?
What is your favorite conference championship memory?
I'll be honest, the last 5 minutes, I was Google translating, and I didn't know what you guys were saying. It was a foreign language.
I get that.
Yeah. But to answer the 12 or 20 question,
we didn't ask you.
I do like the 12. I was listening. I did catch that part.
See, you know what, Craig? I think we made him a little self-conscious last week when you said he wasn't listening to us. So now he's listening, hanging on
He's got notes and everything.
He got in the green room early tonight. He's been listening actively. I've seen that little head nod, occasionally throwing the hands up. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. So you gave him a little bit of stage fright, I guess.
That's okay. That's what I'm here for. You put a little fear of God in people. It works out. Yeah. We all like the Catholic schools or went to Catholic schools at one point. So you would go with the 12-team playoff with the conference championships. You didn't really like any of those 13 versus 20 matchups?
The only reason I say that is how often are we really honestly talking about somebody ranked 15 through 20 that is being dismissed? And that's my reasoning. Now, how you get the 12 could be refined a little bit better. JMU, example number one, But the idea that 15 through 20 is just as good or could compete, regardless of the name brand. Strip the name off the helmets, okay? Who cares if it's a Longhorn or if it's what are the JMU? What's their mascot.
Fighting Dukes, the Royal
There you
Dukes.
go. Whether it's a Duke or a Longhorn,
No
who
clue.
cares? Nobody's really seriously talking about 20 being as good as 1 through 4 or even 1 through 12. That's my reason. As far as the conference side, all jokes aside, I don't know that that's a deciding factor in why you go to 12 or 20. I think the idea should just be to have the 12 best teams. Whether you get Duke and Virginia like you did last year, which almost slid Miami out, which would have been wrong. I know Notre Dame got left out, but again, I can be objective. Miami getting left out wouldn't have been the right move just because Duke and Virginia made the conference championship. So, you still got the best 12 is what I'm getting at, right? So
Notre Dame couldn't have won a national championship last year.
Oh no, they absolutely could have.
But they would have been but either Miami or Notre Dame was the 13th best team. They were 12 and 13.
How convenient you're skipping over Alabama, Mr. SEC. How nice of you.
Alabama sucked and should not have been in the college football playoff last year. They got their asses handed to them, and I have said
yes.
But I'm just.
Do I need to pull this back onto the rails?
All I'm saying is Alabama wasn't talked about. It was Miami versus Notre Dame, because that's what the media and that's what the television show that is the college football playoff selection committee put in front of our eyes.
If Notre Dame was on ESPN, they would have been in.
Damn it. NBC got us again.
I got a question for you there,
money in. Here we go. The Irish Minute is brought to you by
Bailey's. When you need an Irish coffee, reach for Bailey's. Top of the morning. All right. Your question. Is Kirk Cignetti the best college football coach in the state of Indiana?
Give him some background.
So Notre Dame and Indiana had a home rivalry or schedule coming up here, and one of the two teams backed out. And Cignetti is like, anytime, anywhere, we'll meet you in the streets. We're ready to play you. And Freeman, I haven't really heard from. And when I look at national championships, I see Cignetti with one. I see Freeman with a second place trophy. So is Notre Dame scared to play Indiana? And is Cignetti the best coach in college football in the state of Indiana?
Well, first, Notre Dame, Freeman has played Cignetti, and Freeman's 1-0 against Cignetti. The Notre Dame Indiana series, rivalry, what do you want to call it, was supposed to take place 2030, 2031, which would have been the first time they played each other since the early 90s. Big deal. Well, Indiana, about 2 weeks ago, decided they're not going to play that game because the Big Ten schedule, whatever their details are, but it was on Indiana's request to cancel the series. Fast forward 10 days, Kurt Cignetti is like, well, I want to play Notre Dame, but since they're independent, which somehow that matters in this conversation, because they're independent, we should have to play. We should.
That's more stressful.
No pressure. We should have to play at our home twice and go to Notre Dame once. The issue I have with that is your school decided we don't want to play, and then you're going to be the hold me back guy. Hold me back. Oh, I had him if you didn't hold me back. And not to mention, have you seen their non-conference schedule? If you got it on your pre-planned pictures, throw it up there. They are playing the lowest of the lowest schools. I mean, I'm going to go quickly, guys. Kennesaw State, Howard, Western Kentucky, Kennesaw State again, Indiana State, UMass, Austin P, Eastern Michigan. Hey, shout out MBG, go Eastern Michigan. Fight. Miami, Ohio, Ball State, Eastern Illinois, Western Kentucky again, Indiana State, Delaware. Find me anything that's remotely close to playing Notre Dame, and that's the one they back out of.
I will not accept any Blue Hen slander on this show.
Yeah, go fighting Blue Hens.
Go fighting
D-Fly's dad. My buddy D-Fly, his dad coached at Delaware.
Joe Flacco. I mean, he's been on every AFC Central team there is.
Now, here's what I'll say. Is Cignetti better than Freeman? This is not my Notre Dame mind. I don't think so. Just because where Freeman has brought Notre Dame and also the steps he's taken, and of course, I have more knowledge about that than I do what Indiana's been doing. But 3 years from now, if Cignetti's still where he's at, I would maybe reconsider what I've just said. However, he brought in a influx from JMU. Fantastic. That worked out. That was awesome. You bring in Mendoza and you hit the pinnacle. You've maxed out. Let's see what he does now that I know it's still transfers and all that, but
he has Tyler Hoover now, who threw almost more interceptions than he did touchdowns the last 3 years at TCU.
That's my point. Is Fernando Mendoza worked out tremendously. Is Hoover gonna do that? And
No.
Going forward, the reality is Indiana's still Indiana. If they don't have the last 2 years, they are still the losingest college football team in the history of the sport. I don't care what level you're at. I don't know what the NIL story is at IU, and I know there's a lot of alumni, Cuban included, that have all kinds of money. But how consistently are you going to bring in the guy that's going to change the game? Because I don't think Georgia and Clemson and Notre Dame are still the regular traditional recruiting still has a place in our school's programs. IU has been living and dying on the transfer portal hitting with his influx of JMU guys and then Mendoza and a couple other guys. If that's the recipe he's going to roll with, I mean, look around. FSU tried it. USC tried it. That's where I'm at.
Are you saying it's like going from Jordan Travis to DJ Uiagalelei? Palk, thanks so much for coming,
Thanks,
buddy.
Palk.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
That was your Irish 8 minutes.
Well, Case, that was pretty good, I think.
Yeah, he's good.
It was pretty good. Anything else left for us?
I don't know.
Is that it?
Yeah, you had a last cup there. Do you want to talk the last cup real quick, or we can roll this out?
Let's last cup it, baby. You ready?
Let's do it real fast.
All right. Just a question for you, and there's no Big Ten bias here. But are Michigan and Ohio State the two most insufferable programs in college football? And here's my question. First, you had Kyle Whittingham talking to our media brethren in a press conference saying, would we have a better chance of beating them if I said I hated them? Can't we all just get along? And then today, On3 puts out that Ryan Day is moving senior day to week 1 to limit distractions and keep the focus on the game. There's already enough distractions that week. So this was one more thing that we felt that we could move. Shut up. Jeez. So I ask you, Casey, are Michigan and Ohio State the two most insufferable programs in college football?
I would have said that when Clemson and Ohio State were in their back and forth couple-year run where they were playing each other. So all I read on Twitter was insufferable Ohio State people. But considering that maybe it's where Clemson's place, we haven't we haven't seen them in a while. So I really am kind of indifferent to Ohio State of late, other than the fact of where I live and where I've lived with a whole bunch of Ohio people just infiltrating my state. But Michigan, I have no feelings towards one way or the other. So I'm going to say no right now. They're not the most insufferable fan bases in the state. And it might have to do a little bit with my geography and the fact that your geography is that's what you're ingesting daily.
That is my
based on your locale.
That is. And I don't know. Like I said, I find Ryan Day sometimes be a little bit whiny. I feel like Ohio State ebbs and flows based on where he's feeling it or not feeling it. Whittingham, I don't know. Like, he's an Urban Meyer guy, so maybe he's not allowed to say he can't he doesn't like Ohio State. So
it is interesting that he comes from a state that played a game called the Holy War. And apparently, according to MBG and other folks that are involved in that BYU-Utah game, it is nasty. And unfortunately, where we are geographically, I don't really feel it, but I could imagine. And so it's just kind of ironic that Kyle Whittingham, the leader of that program at Utah for as many years as he was, doesn't hate somebody. I'm sure he probably does deep down. Of course, they want to win a football game, so it definitely maybe deters that a little bit. But And as far as the senior day thing, Clemson and South Carolina have been doing that for years. Not the game one; they go the week before
Okay,
and
week
do it
before.
rather than basically it is to take a little bit of. They don't want to take the eyes off the game and make it sentimental. And quite honestly, of recent years anyway, Clemson's kind of adopted that SEC thing where they'll play, an in-state team, the Citadel, whoever, Georgia
Mhm.
Southern, those teams that you should beat on paper. They'll do that week for senior day. So this isn't something that like he's reinventing the wheel here but the first week of the year, that's a little weird. You're not saying goodbye to them at that point.
No, exactly. And I do know from athletic directing, you do not want to save this till the end. We had an issue last year where one of our teams' senior day was rained out and they had no more games after that. So
Yeah, that's
a little bit rough. A little bit rough. I think we did okay though.
It was really pretty long. I was long-winded tonight.
That's okay. I think you were great, but I do have a little something just for you to make sure that we have the proper outro. Are you ready for this, buddy?
Give it to us.
Here we go.
See everybody next week. Thank you for joining.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.